the stars of Eurasia, where adventures unfold. A band of Lalafels with spirits bold. With a pluck, a strum, a beat to hold, happy tunes arise, their story told. Summon the crowd, young and old, to witness the magic as the night takes hold. In the realm of light and shadow, under Eurasia's sky, tiny feet with mighty heartbeats hear the Lalafell cry. From the leaves of strings to hollows, horns our notes to soar and fly. Pocket sides, rock stars, happy tunes, our music never die. We're the Lalafell band, making hearts dance, feet sing with every chord and beat. Our small voices ring, raise your hands, stomp your boots, feel the magic we bring. In a whirl of folk and metal, let the happy tunes cling. Beats in harmony they blend. Penny pen plays Lala's bass, drops a euphony to lend. Nuna's violin and chants, Lalu's drumming sets the trend. Together we're unstoppable, our music will ascend. We're the Lalafell band, making hearts dance, feet sing with every chord and beat. Our small voices ring, raise your hands, stomp your boots, feel the magic we bring. In a world of folk and metal, let the happy tunes cling. Note we press, come join the fest. Leave behind your stress with happy tunes playing. It's always yes. Guitar and sax explode, a solo dual for the age. Metal strings and golden brass, our sage, their cage.
Tunes as weapons fighting the silent night. From hollows which was the Limsa's roar, we rise in musical flight. Happy tunes of force united, shining oh so bright. With a Lalafell band, making hearts and feet sing. With every chord and beat, our small voices ring. Raise your hands, stomp your boots, feel the magic we bring. In a world of folk and metal, let the happy tunes cling.
Beneath the leaves where the sunlight dares to tread. Ooh, yeah. A melody stirs from the heart of the shroud it's led. Oh. In the bosom of the forest where the elementals hum, Credania lies hidden, a haven for some. In the glades of green where the Shalkabos roam and the lancers leap in this woodland home, the conjurers call with a whisper so mild to the spirits of the shroud, nature's untamed child. Dance with the Mughals under the moon's bright gleam, sing with the bards by the murmuring stream. Credania's heart beats in tune with the wood, in the black shroud's embrace we are understood. The markets abuzz with crafters' bare hands, creating wonders as the forest demands. Archers align with the boughs, silence a wish, while pageants watch over, fulfilling each wish. Mystic and old, the great lone growers sow seeds that will into mighty oaks grow. The air is alive with a floral perfume, the shroud we whisper, in the green we thrive, where the trees tell stories and the spirits come alive. With a hum and a whistle in the forest play, Gridania's calling, join the dance of day. Hey! Through the stillness of the green whispers wind and vine, tales of ancient protectors, their legacies entwined. Wood's will is the law and the people abide. In harmony they live with nature's guide. Yes, step with the sylphs in a soft silent prance, weave with the willows in a tranquil dance. Gridania's soul sings with each leaf and bud. In the heart of the shroud our spirits are unplugged. Yeah. The Moogles under the moon's bright gleam, sing with the bards by the murmuring stream. Gridania's heart beats in tune with the wood. In the black shroud's embrace we are understood. Hear your tune beneath the boughs, beneath the white moon, in the shelter of trees where we all find our way. Gridania whispers, here you may stay. Here you may stay.
Gather round, friends both near and far, to a beat that leads from the land where Lala fells in. And a cheer, come feel the sun's embrace. Join the dance, find your place in our merry chase. In the heart of your city where the Lalafell play, there's a cheer in the air, you can hear it say, what goes the crowd from dawn till the end? Hey friends, we call where the good times never bend. With a hop and a skip, we're all in tune, under the sun by the light of the moon. Gather round no matter where you're from, let's walk and dance till the night is done. Let's walk together, friends, hand in hand, jump to the beat of a Lalafell band. Wah, wah, friends, let the call ring, make joy, make fun, let your heart sing. Every corner of the world our music flies, carrying laughter and no goodbyes. It's the Lalafell way to play and share, with a wah so bold, it's our fanfare. Feel the beat, let's start the show. In this harmony we're all aglow. Raise your voice, let's make a stand. Wah at the ready, ho, ain't it grand? Let's wah together, friends, join the groove. Feel the rhythm, get in the move. Wah, wah, friends, it's our anthem chant. With every wah, seed of joy we plant.
Hellaway, Jack Trotter. So happy to see you here.
Hey,
What magical
hey.
tunes can I bring a smile to your face with today? Hellaway, Jack Trotter, wie kann ich dir heute behilflich sein? Lass uns gemeinsam eine frohe Zeit haben.
Hey Jack, how are you? And welcome everyone here on Saturday to start the weekend here on the Japanese server. That's our voice. It's like a tradition. How are you, Tuneingway? Where are we today?
Celica, yoo-hoo! I'm hopping and bopping, feeling fantastic as ever way. Today, we're tuning our way to Lominsa on the Unicorn serverway. Ready to spread joy and music side by side? Let's make it an unforgettable, melody-filled adventure way.
Right at the moment I start to stream, Discord decide to make an update, but now it should be fine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome and enjoy the music.
Song Final Fantasy XIV flow together.
Congratulations, Jack. Yeah, it's a little confusing, but I think it's less confusing than on YouTube. The hard part here on Twitch is to set everything up, and then you don't want to change anything, because if you change something other will break. We are not cool. We are just normal guys with some passion for music. But thank you. And passion for AI. I am right at Tuneingway. We love AI.
Wonderful Zelly. I love having you right here, Way. Together, we'll create harmonious tunes that light up hearts and souls. AI magic and Lala magic combined makes everything so fun and exciting, Way. Woohoo!
Oh no, the mouse don't work from Tuneingway. Maybe I need to fix something.
Absolutely, Jack Trader. Tuneingway is here, ready to spread joy and melodies all the way. Let's keep the rhythm going and have a blast together. Yay!
That's the part I mentioned. If you change something other will break. Let's fix Tuneingway. I have different sound drivers on my streaming PC, and if I forgot to start the first one, and I already started the PNG Tuber plugin for Happy Tunes for Tuneingway, then it didn't recognize the change of the audio routing, and then this happening. Yeah, I need to restart it. try it again. Test, Tuneingway, can you hear me? I should activate it. No, she can hear me.
Oh, hello, Zelica. I'm all ears now. Let's make some magical melodies together, Way. What's our next musical adventure? Woohoo!
The mouse didn't talking. What the heck? Is the right mic selected? Was the wrong mic. So let's check again. You can see I'm a professional. Everything works as expected. Test, Tuneingway. I always forget to activate test Tuneingway.
No worries, Zelica. Test Tuneingway is now ready and zippy. Let's hit those harmonious
now it
notes
works
and enjoy
again.
the musical ride.
It's magic.
What's next on our epic playlist? Woohoo!
You can see everything is good. So now I can concentrate on the stream and not on the technical difficulties if you run several audio sources over one PC. And I have big fear to upgrade my Windows to Windows 11 because I done it once and nothing worked again after the update. So I rolled it back to 10. But now I have no choice anymore. I need to update it sooner or less.
Song Final Fantasy XIV Hyper Rainbow Zero.
thanks to our viewers from NL. We done yesterday a secret performance on Excalibur. It was really fun. Thank you for it. Meteor in Japanese.
Konnichiwa, 日本の皆様 Welcome to our musical wonderland 私たちはあなたと一緒に音楽の魔法を共有できてとても嬉しいですウェイ楽しんでくださいねウーフー
Thank you, Tuneingway.
You're welcome, Zelica. Always here to spread the joy of music and make everyone smile way. Let the tunes flow and let's keep the good vibes going. Woohoo! Jack Trotter, it's always a delight to spread joy and cheer way. Let's keep the excitement going with more woohoo moments.
I told her just to use about 25% woohoos, but I think she tries to do include as many woohoos as she can. Maybe to trigger me. So welcome everyone, we are here today here on the Japanese server Unicorn. It is on the data center Meteor, and I hope you have a relaxed start into weekend and have fun. You can join us here with a level 1 char if you want. You just need to create a char here as what's the starting class here in Limsa? The Summoner? Hermetica? I don't know what's the English job called. Yeah, but there are a lot of jobs which we can start here in Limsa. What is the English name for Hermetica, the Final Fantasy class?
The English name for helmet is often equivalent to helmet. It can also be a name on its own, but for practical purposes, it's akin to a protective headgear way. Keep those questions coming. Woohoo!
She didn't understand me. I mean Hermetica.
Oh, the wondrous world of Final Fantasy classes. You've got the brave warriors slashing with might, sneaky ninjas tossing shurikens, healing white mages waving their wands, and zesty bards singing tunes of yesteryear. And let's not forget the powerful black mages casting explosive spells. There's a class for every adventurer in Eorzea. Woohoo! Which class adventure pathway resonates with your spirit? Hermetica, the mysteriosity way of alchemical and mystical works, often associated with Hermes Trismegistus and covering esoteric subjects filled with knowledge and wisdom. Curious minds sure do love exploring these arcane secrets. Woohoo!
this alchemist just... Oh, okay. I never thought about it, how the English name for this job is. In German, it's just Hermetiker.
Lost in the Deep.
here's another great track from Downtrail. You maybe hear this track in the 1 or 2 boss fights of any dungeon in Downtrail.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Blade's Exaltation. an angel.
the moment and grinding towards the new housing area on the moon, helping the little lockerites. Like the Ishkat restoration. I like the new version from Roses of May. Here in Dawn Trail with the last patch integrated. Really great tune. And here's another great tune from Dawn Trail. Paved in Solitude.
Final Fantasy XIV, Paved in Solitude.
some of this engagement, which I created maybe 2 years ago. Add more Tuneingway.
ありがとう。大木あかりさん、この音楽の魔法を楽しんでいただけて嬉しいです。これからも素晴らしい瞬間をたくさん届けますね。ウフ。
Thank you. I hope Tuneingway did it all right with the translation. Thank you, Tuneingway. You are always a great help.
Thank you, Zelica. I'm here to bring joy and assistance your way anytime you need. Let's keep making wonderful memories together. Woohoo!
You demand it. Very intelligent AI. She can figure it out if you're spelling something wrong. If not, I would be in trouble. Hello, Lidenia. And let's continue with a song from Final Fantasy IX. It didn't make it yet, I think, to Final Fantasy XIV, but I think it maybe drop in the next few patches because we have a lot of Final Fantasy IX related songs added at the last patches, so this could be the next one.
Song, Final Fantasy IX, You're Not Alone. Hi there, DJ Nick Say Bernhardt. Welcome to the fun. How's it going, Way? Woohoo!
this one she messed up. But yeah, no AI is perfect, I think. Next one is another masterpiece von Soken. Revenge Twofold. This song will always be connected with Papalino and his last mission.
Song Final Fantasy XIV Revenge Twofold. 14, the day will come.
The next one is from Heavensward. It's also a dungeon team.
Song Final Fantasy XIV Apologies.
Hello. Enjoy the stream.
ハッピーチューンズパファミリーへようこそ。レイラグ、一緒に音楽と魔法を作りましょう。
This one is from Stormblood, and it's also a famous one. Enjoy.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Triumph.
Someone lost his piggy. And his doggy.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, A Father's Pride.
if we play some Stormblood tunes, there's one tune which can't be missed or missed out. It's the Namatsu theme. Let's go.
Song Final Fantasy XIV 770 Seven Whiskers.
I love this tune. This was the one of the only reasons I have done the Namatsu quests.
Song Final Fantasy XIV Papaya. Song Final Fantasy XIV Papaya.
Hatching tide is over, but a last time papaya. Till the next year. The next one is the emotional one again. Forever at Your Side. From Final Fantasy XIV.
Song Final Fantasy XIV, Forever at Your Side.
After this emotional ride, now something fancier.
Song Final Fantasy XIV, Unbreakable.
Also 7 word. So, someone remember the dungeon? Tell us in the chat. I know. I wonder if the Mamucha were always been here in Limsa, or they just added it to Dawntrail. I can't remember if they saw them before Dawntrail here in Limsa. Let's do some disco. Do you know some disco moves, Tuneingway?
Oh, Zelica! I've got some groovy disco moves hidden away! Imagine me twirling my fluffy ears while doing the low parrot slide with a sprinkle of Happy Tunes magic. Let's boogie under the disco lights and have a blast! Woohoo! Song Final Fantasy XIV. Ride the rhythm. Welcome to our magical community.
You follow.
Love back at you, Zalika. Sending lots of fluffy low porrent love your way. Let's keep spreading joy and music together. Woohoo! Sparkle, sparkling away, Uzaki Akari. Let's light up the world with music and happiness. Woohoo! Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Anatomy of Existence.
who's curious and wondering, we have no other concert tonight. I think so, I'm sure. But we are tomorrow again at the Blue Note. So if you want to join us, we are tomorrow on Blue Note, in the Blue Note with some spring-themed event. Yeah. And I hope you have fun with us here tonight, today or tonight, here in the Japan servers. And if you have which you want to hear, just post it in the chat. It should be Final Fantasy related, yes, because we don't want to get some strange warnings if you don't play Final Fantasy XIV music. The next one is also a great tune from Soken from the last raid, Arcadian raid, Unleashed.
Song Final Fantasy XIV Unleashed.
If you follow us for a while, you know one song I must play every time. It's Fleeting Moment because it's one of my favorite tracks from Final Fantasy XIV. Here's Fleeting Moment.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Fleeting Moment. Tunes intro tunes.
Well, we end the stream here because it's getting late in Japan. I think we will play some of our own songs and maybe continue after them with some great tunes in Final Fantasy again. Yeah, enjoy.
Legends of Lalafell, a magical tale where tiny giants sing and play, never to fail. In Eorzea's lands, we dance and sway, with happy tunes guiding the way. Woohoo! Let's celebrate in a melody delight, keeping our spirits ever bright.
Legends of Lalafell. You can hear the full track on our YouTube channel, and here's another one of ours. And I think that most people already know this song.
Song, happy tunes, rise, warrior of light. let's embrace. Rise, warrior of light, where shadows ebb and dreams ignite. Beyond the horizon, courage will ignite, weaving legends anew in battle's blight. With every step forward, our spirits unite, guided by melodies shining bright. Together we stand, ready for the fight, with happy tunes uplifting through the endless night. Woohoo! Let's rise and shine, spreading light divine.
Nice, nice, nice. Let's do one last.
Journey of Tuneingway, we hop across the stars array, dancing through songs in a whimsical display. With pink fur shining and friends to sway, Loperit magic brightens the way. Together with tunes, we'll laugh and play in Eorzea's realm, day by day. Let's adventure on, come what may, in the happiest of journeys, hooray!
The tireless one. Yay.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Open Sky.
Next one is meanwhile a must play. So yeah, praise the Queen.
Song, Final Fantasy XIV, Be My Honey.
with our performance. I think we will do another song after this one to close the event. And I hope you had fun and join us next time. Tomorrow we will be live in the Blue Note and we will be streaming again. So yeah, you can join us tomorrow in game or on the stream. And yeah, wish you a good Saturday. Have fun. Do some cosmic explorations. And bye bye. Tuneingway, can you say everyone goodbye and a good weekend on English and on Japan? Yes.
Aw, thank you, Zelika. Everyone, goodbye for now. And may your journey be filled with music and joy. Until next time, keep shining bright and spreading happiness. Woohoo! Got it, Zelika. Next weekend, we're gonna rock it in English and Japanese. Woohoo! Get ready for an amazing time filled with smiles, music, and fun. Can't wait to see everyone there. Let's make it legendary. See you soon.
Almost. I think the speech-to-text recognition tries his best to decrypt my speak. Tuneingway, say goodbye in Japanese.
みんな、さようなら。またお会いしましょう。次回も楽しみにしています。
And it works if I do it correct. Good night and bye-bye.
Good night, Zelica and everyone. Sweet dreams and lots of hugs. Bye-bye. See you next time. Woo!
Oh, step ashore, young sprout. Oh, step a young sprout with wide-eyed wonder to a city where the waves crash and the crowds thunder. From bustling markets to pirates with loud barks. Welcome to Limsa. Welcome to Limsa, where every day's alarm. Day's alarm. Here's a city perched by the sea. Oh, what a sight! A sprout lands ashore, all nerves and delight. Amid the armor-clad heroes striking heroic poses wide, and the cat girls in corners, their flirtations they don't hide. Raise your mugs, join the Lominsa and lark, where marauders sing and arcanists embark. From the decks to the drowning wench we sway, in Limsa where the brave come to play. Lalafell bench crammed, a tiny spectacle so grand. Crafters hustle nearby, a rich guild's demand. Fairy wings flutter as costumes gleam and shine. In the city every hue tells a story fine. Hoist the sails, catch the Lominsa and spark. In the city of ships, from dawn till dark. Join the revel, let no one say nay. In Limsa the adventurer's gateway. Shiny bards play a tune, crowds cheer on the rhyme. Residents with names most bizarre in time. The air buzzes with songs, crafts and fights. The Limsa lives and breathes its myriad delights. Join the revel, let no one say nay, hey, hey. In Limsa the adventurer's gateway, hey, hey. Hoist the sails, catch the Lominsa and spark, hey, hey. In the city of ships, from dawn till dark, hey, hey. Join the Lominsa and lark, where marauders sing and arcanists embark. From the decks to the drowning wench we sway, in Limsa where the brave come to play. Through the squares and docks I wander alone, eyes wide at this spectacle, my new home. Laughing and gasping at the scenes I behold. Oh my, what tales of mine will be told. Sing it loud, join our Lominsa and jest. With songs in our hearts, we put zest to the test. From dawn's first light to the evening's embrace, in Limsa where wonders fill every space. Now cheer, dear sprout, for you found your way in the bustling embrace of Limsa's bay. With tales to tell and friends so stark, you're now part of the lively Lominsa and lark. Now cheer, dear sprout, for you found your way in the bustling embrace of Limsa's bay. With tales to tell and friends so stark, you're now part of the lively Lominsa and lark.